Alright, welcome back. In my right hand I have the new Ping G410 Plus, obviously. It's all I've been to doing videos on at the minute. However, in my left hand I've got a 3-wood shaft. Both of the shafts in these golf clubs are stiff flex. I want to see what the difference is between both. I want to see differences in distance, and I want to see if there is a difference in dispersion. I'm looking forward to this. Let's get... Oh, I must also mention that this isn't my idea for this video. It was actually a guy called Mark Slater who brought me his own driver in, but seeing as though we've got a 3-wood and a driver shaft, I thought it'd be more appropriate to do it that way. So, let's get into it. Right then, so specs wise, obviously because we're using the same head, it's a Ping G410 Plus in the neutral weight setting down at 9 degrees. The specs are going to be pretty much, the specs are going to be exact same for both shafts. The only thing that we are changing really is shaft length. Shaft specification wise, the 3-wood shaft is slightly heavier, I do believe. So this is a 65S in the 3-wood shaft, whereas the driver shaft is a 55S. So both stiff flex, possibly just a little bit of a weight change. Lengthwise, we see 43 inches in the 3-wood, 45 and 3/4 in the driver shaft. So I do believe that most guys on tour nowadays are playing a shorter length shaft due to the fact that they're not seeing a decrease in distance, but they are seeing a better dispersion. Me being someone who's quite erratic off the tee normally, this might also be a good option for myself, which is why I'm double interested to test this out today. Like always, I'm talking far too much. We need to go into the nets on the Skytrack and test this out. I will see you there in about, what, 2 minutes, something like that? Hey up, fancy seeing you here. So we're out here in the nets. I've got the driver shaft in first, and you may notice this little gadget gizmo that I've got on. This is called the Sky Pro, and it works in conjunction with the Skytrack to hopefully give us a little bit more consistent club data, more so for the club head speeds and stuff like that. So we've got Sky Pro hooked up to Skytrack. Let's hit some shots. We're going to go driver shaft first and let's see what the differences are. Just as a bit of a side note as well, we are using the Forte Tour Trajectory golf balls. These are a little bit like the Titleist AVX from what I'm led to believe. Okay, so that's 5 shots done with the driver shaft. We're now going to put the 3-wood one in and see if results are any different. Right then, the 3-wood shaft is in, the Sky Pro is on. Let's go 3-wood shaft. Still at 9 degrees, still with the Forte Tour Trajectory balls. We'll get this data, then we'll go back inside and we will see where we're at. It does feel a good 2 3/4 inch short. Okay, so not quite what I expected there. Let's go back inside now and let's look at these strange results. Right then, back inside now. One thing that I will say is by using the Sky Pro, it has meant that when we come to look at our data that we've collected, that the club head speeds are a lot more similar, without finding use of a better word. So sometimes the only criticism that I do have of the Skytrack is that it does fluctuate 5-6 miles an hour sometimes with the club head speed, especially with the driver. So just by using the Sky Pro, it gives us a little bit more knuckled down club information. So without further ado, let's look into it then. First 4 shots are with the driver shaft, second 4 are with the 3-wood shaft. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to separate them because it's both data for a driver, and that's how the Sky Pro recognises it. However, we can look at it now. So if we look at the carry for the first 4 shots, 268, 244, 251, 255, kind of where I'd expect my driver carries to be. When we look at the second one with the 3-wood shaft, 219, 224, 229, 231, so definitely decreasing. On average, I think the second 4 is going to be roughly around 227, something like that. I think that's fair to say. The first 4 you're looking at more like 255, I think is a fair comment. We did have one 291 total with the driver shaft. That was an interesting one. But when we look at club head speed, there was no sacrifice in club head speed. So we saw with the driver shaft 110, 110, 111, 109, fair stuff. With the 3-wood shaft 111, 109, 112 being the highest, and 110. so there's not much difference there. But the big section, what we do notice difference in, is the PTI score. So we saw 1.44, 1.34, 1.36, 1.4 with the driver shaft. In the 3-wood shaft, 1.29, 1.31, 1.28, 1.33. So this indicates to me that I have an inability to strike the centre of the club face more frequently with the shorter shaft, which to me does not make sense. The preconception I had going into this test was that I will be able to hit the centre of the club more frequently with the shorter shaft, and that has not been the case. The only argument I can put against that is that I am just purely used to hitting a driver at a driver's length. I very rarely hit a driver of a 3-wood length, which is probably why I found it a little bit hard in these 4 or 5 shots to locate the centre. However, these aren't the results that I expected. So subsequently, due to those missed strikes, when we look at the ball speeds column, we've gone from 158, 148, 151, 153 in the driver length to 144, 143, 144, 147. So not being able to hit the centre of that face has decreased the ball speed, which has led to a significant drop off in distance. We also need to look at the dispersion. So when I bring these 2 little images up on screen, I think I'll do the driver length first. We see that the dispersion circle is actually quite tight. So we have 1 that missed a little bit to the left, but 3 just missing to the right centre of the fairway that were all quite close to that centre line. So that was positive. When we look at the 3-wood length shaft, which would you...
That you could do so.
When we look at the 3-wood length shaft, which you would expect the dispersion circles to be narrower, because you would think you'd have more control over it, because again, due to my missed strikes and frequent missed strikes, we saw 1, the furthest one and probably most accurate out of the whole data set, to be fair, just left of the centre of fairway, but we saw 3 that were quite, well, 1 definitely quite wildly to the right. So, you know, shorter shaft when it comes to dispersion, for me, in this test, in this instance, I'm pretty sure if I retest it again I will get different results, but in this instance, the shorter shaft leads to less control, if anything, which is very strange. Definitely not what I expected. Yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, not the results that I was expecting. Glad that I did this test. I think upon further testing we would see different results, so later down the line I might repeat this test, but all in all, say interesting far too much, don't I? Very interesting test. So if you've liked this video, please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you have any more suggestions on videos that I can do, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks again for your continued support. I'm delighted with how the channel's progressing, and we've seen some extremely positive numbers views wise recently, so thank you guys very much for that. And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Cheers.
You want him to do you so much you could do anything?